Gilba, J Gilba 11. With me is Russell Clay at Russell J Clay. Taking a look at tonight's 8-game slate here, and we did the pitching, and you have a couple of high-priced guys, but some guys that are probably going to leave you with a little bit more salary than you imagined for hitters today.
Yeah, for an 8-gamer, usually there's one or two guys, but there's actually a lot of mid-range today. I think you can kind of screw around, especially in that 8K range and that 9K range. So you don't necessarily have to pay up for the top options. I do like Hamels, though. So you're probably looking at 33 to 3,700 remaining when it's all said and done with pitching. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, definitely. And jumping right into catcher, 3,800, Matt Wieters is my favorite option on the day. I love these Baltimore bats. I mean, in Camden Yards against Eric Johnson, who's been bad. And you look at him, I mean, his numbers against lefties, 378 WOBA, 2.51 home runs per 9 to lefties since 2015. It hasn't been good this season. In this ballpark, I think Baltimore is my favorite stack of the night.
Yeah, and I think when you look at a Wilson Ramos, who's the same basically price range, he's got a tough matchup. 3,900 is very overpriced for him, in my opinion. So I'm not really looking at him. But like you mentioned, Wieters against Johnson, great matchup in Camden. So give me that. I'm in 3,800. It's affordable tonight compared to considering the pitching that's on the slate. So I'm in.
Yeah, definitely. And as you mentioned, I mean, Ramos, a tough matchup against Urias at 3,900.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing is I don't – for me, I mean, catcher is a really weak spot tonight, and I can't see myself using really any other catcher. I mean, outside of maybe a punt play, I mean, Kurt Suzuki is still super cheap against a really bad Adam Morgan at 2,800. That would be kind of the only other option I'll go.
I was kind of looking at if Chirinos is in the lineup against the old Australian man there. But yeah, no, I definitely agree for the most part. 8-gamer, I mean, what do you expect from catcher, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, with some of those guys on the slate, I mean, you had a lot of backups, a lot of guys that are going up against tougher pitchers that really just haven't been great this season.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty simple for me. It's Wieters are kind of paid down.
Would you do a Christian Vasquez at 2,300 against Quintana?
Probably not. I don't think I would need to.
Yeah.
And Quintana's still an above-average lefty to target. If it was a different lefty, I mean, rest in peace, John Banks. We miss you. It would be maybe a different story.
Yeah.
So. First base here, and as you mentioned on the pitcher pod, I mean, Will Myers continues to be red hot. A really nice.
Yeah, you know what? I can't knock it. You know what? Before I would come over to first and look at it and be like, Will Myers, get out of here. Now it's kind of like, all right, well, you know what? You earned my respect. Good play tonight. Obviously, he's had some major power in the last month or so. Great matchup. I expect the Padres to do well, so he's also a stacking option. So, I mean, if you are paying up, decent option for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, look at Jimenez. I mean, he's been awful this year. For the same reasons I like Wieters, I really like Chris Davis as well. A little bit more boomer bust, but I mean, he has that monster upside, and I think the long ball is pretty good threat tonight. Just in that ballpark and in this matchup in general.
Yeah, I'd be worried about completely fading the Orioles in a lot of lineups. I think you at least want to get some of these guys in. Maybe throw, like you mentioned, Chris Davis at first in, or a Wieters, or an Adam Jones, or just something. Make sure you get like a little something in there, just in case, because I think there could be potentially a lot of power coming from this lineup tonight.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you look at last time, I mean, Pedro Alvarez had the 2-homer game. He's 3,700. I'm not going to go really chasing, but I mean, you can't knock him because he is in the same matchup as all the other guys.
Right.
So, I mean, outside of that, I mean, you got Miguel Cabrera at 4,500. Really nice price. Iwakuma's not a guy who really scares me off these Tiger bats. And that's, I mean, he's not missing enough bats either for me to kind of stay away from these guys. So Cabrera at 4,500 is a really nice cash-in guy, even a GPP option. And I still even think Ortiz at 4,300. I mean, he's handled lefties well and has hit well. So I think that's still an intriguing GPP option.
Yeah, Jose Abreu. I like him over a 320 WOBA against lefties and over a 200 ISO since 2015. Rodriguez obviously hasn't been super strong, so I do like him as a play as well, right next to Cabrera. Probably prefer Cabrera a little bit, but not by much.
Yeah, definitely. And um, outside of that, I mean, I don't really feel like I need to go really that low. Um, and there's not really a lot of guys. I mean, I know people are going to be looking at some of that value from the Philly Minnesota game. So Tommy Joseph at 3,400 is still going to be probably mentioned, around a few other sites. Um, outside of that, I mean, I think you can really stick in the 3,800 plus range.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think I like the top end here
Yeah,
of those three options we mentioned.
yeah, definitely. And second base here, I'm not really intrigued with paying up at this position. I think it's going to be kind of an option where I spin down. I really like the Jurickson Profar 3,800 range, Solarte at 4K, even a Cano at 4,100 still super cheap, and obviously Dozier right there is a guy I like as well.
Mm, yeah, I definitely like Dozier. I think that's a good call at 4,300, not killing you on price. And fits into that twin stack really nicely. Solarte, not paying 4K for him, even against Ubaldo. Unfortunately, love you, brother, but you're out at 4K. I like you more at 2,500. Um, Rangers bats I'm in on tonight, so obviously you gotta like Odor even at a more expensive price. I don't think I'm gonna be going with Swoop tonight. I think I like some of the other options better, but obviously he does have upside.
Yeah, he's in the league at 4,800. I'm not really paying for. Yes, he's in a good spot as all the Orioles are, but as you mentioned, I think that price is just killer. And I mean, naming off
Yeah.
those guys really below 4,300 is something that I'm on more so.
In a contrarian type of way, because I think a lot of people are going to be thinking like that. Maybe you throw him into one Oriole stack, but overall, in terms of the process here, I'm not really in on him
Yeah,
as far as the whole Orioles lineup goes.
yeah, me either. And I think elsewhere, I mean, uh, you know, you're not really looking
Daniel
down low.
Murphy versus a strong lefty, so he's out. Pedroia, I'm not really liking him against Quintana. I do like Profar 3,800, so that's that. But I think you just bump up to a Dozier at that stage, you know.
Yeah, I mean, if I need to save an extra couple hundred, I really don't mind him. But I do think that mid range is kind of where I'll be sitting.
Yeah,
Third base here, Manny Machado still suspended. You looking at a couple of these guys here. I really like Todd Frazier at 3,700 with the lefty on the hill. I mean, coming off a homer last night. Once again, he's priced entirely too cheap here on DraftKings. I know he's hitting right around 200. It's just not a
he's
good
priced
average
for
season.
he's priced for his batting average, not his home run total.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
in the matchup, I mean, if this is supposed to be matchup based pricing, I mean, he's a guy expected to see over, really over 4,500 today.
Right. Yeah, no, you love that matchup for him for sure. So home run power, obviously there, 3,700. Love that for sure. And normally Seager, this is a guy I'd bring up against righties pretty much every time. And I think I do. Like if you go back and you just review guys I bring up versus righties, Seager's probably one I bring up every single time.
Well, you've been
I
on the
don't
last
think,
few days. I mean, back to back games with the homer. So,
but tonight I think we can.
I'm
Tonight
just trying to,
I
I'm just trying to give you a little self tout, action.
yeah,
Then you
yeah,
just, whatever.
yeah. But tonight, I think we can take the night off.
Oh man.
Yeah, that hurt to say, but I think we're gonna take the night off from Seager there.
Yeah, I mean, I like Frazier in a better ballpark, in kind of a better matchup there. And I even like Profar a little more at 3,800 at third base.
Yeah,
And with that being said, I like Eduardo Nunez, but I think I'm going to talk about him more at shortstop. Trevor Plouffe at 3,500. We talked about how bad Morgan is.
yeah.
Look at Morgan.
Give me Dan Straley at or Adrian Beltre against Dan Straley at 3,200.
Yeah, that's a really, really cheap price tag for him. So
Yeah.
there are a lot of options that you can go with. And if you want to take Michael Franco as far as signs going, trending that he'll trend upwards. I mean, big night last night at 3K.
Yep.
I think people are going to look to stack that game just because they saw it last night. I'm going to be a little bit selective. I'm more so on the twin side of things than anything. But I do think that some of those value guys are certainly in play today.
And the over 40 lineup's going to be tough to fit in today, but Juan Uribe is sitting there. So in your over 40 leagues, keep him in mind.
He's.
I don't know how old he is. Huh?
4 homers in a row has just been absolutely ridiculous.
I don't know how old he is, but he definitely looks like a future manager, in my opinion.
Oh, he's 37.
He's been around forever.
So he doesn't quite qualify for the over 40 league.
Oh, man. Well, much like anything local, you're willing to overlook things for your buddies. So, we might let him in anyway. Yeah, 37-40. Come on in, Juan.
Up top, I mean, are you looking at a guy like Justin Turner again? Are you thinking he keeps it hot?
At third?
Yeah.
Yes, I am, in short, but not because of the matchup necessarily. I don't necessarily like that, but I think Justin Turner's showing enough right now as sort of a standalone guy that he has value pretty much regardless of matchup unless it's an ace. So, I think we keep rolling with him on his hot streak.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I don't see myself really going up too much higher. I don't see myself paying for Longoria. I like Nunez more at shortstop, so I think third base is a nice mid-range, position tonight.
Yep.
And going on to shortstop, Bogart's at 5,300 is a little too expensive for me. Lindor at 46, I'm not really on. And Nunez is the guy I'm kind of looking at here. Really solid numbers against lefties this season. You look at him at 4,300. He showed some power this year. I really like him a lot in this matchup against Morgan.
Yeah, and I'm surprised he's not more expensive, as you mentioned with the dynamic pricing. This is a great matchup for him. I think you can plug him in and feel pretty comfortable, especially compared to a lot of guys in that area. Obviously, Bogarts doesn't have a perfect matchup tonight, so I love that. I do like Tim Anderson leading off against Rodriguez, but I definitely like Nunez. I think he has quite considerably more upside than a lot of these guys.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Anderson as well. I mean, I like these White Sox right-handed bats against Rodriguez. He doesn't really have a lot of swing and miss stuff. Fastball is very average, and I think Anderson at that price. I mean, he hit lefties really well in the minors, so I'm a big fan of him as well.
I think he has like a 15% walk rate right now or something in a smaller sample. So that's not too good.
Rodriguez?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, he's definitely been really wild. He's left a lot in the zone.
Right.
But really, I mean, those are the only two guys that I'm really looking at. On the slate, really, I mean, shortstop's a pretty weak spot. I don't really see myself kind of paying down at all. And I don't think you need to.
Nope. I mean, obviously, there's always going to be a 2K guy. There was yesterday. There was a few of them, but it doesn't always pay off. So I think sometimes you can go with the safer guys here, and I'd really pay up here for our guy Nunez here.
Yeah, and I mean, one more guy. I don't mind Corey Seager just because Joe Ross has struggled a little bit with lefties. Seager kind of more of a contrarian play for me. I don't mind that. Last game of the night, Seager's kind of maybe a guy I guess some exposure to, going up against Ross there.
Mm-hmm.
So, looking at the outfield here, and if I'm paying up, it's going to be for that Baltimore Padres game. I really like a Matt Kemp and an Adam Jones.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, let's see who it is. Oh, Laura. She always seems to call in around the outfield time. Yeah, no, Matt Kemp, Adam Jones. We mentioned Adam Jones before. He's a solid value at 4,700. Kemp, again, like Will Myers, he's kind of stabilized for that Padres offense. So, oh, she hit the road.
Here we are with the voice recorder nail down.
Mark Trumbo 4,200. You have to love that.
I like that Baltimore offense quite a bit. Trumbo's certainly in play. Johnson's been very average against righties as well. 410 WOBA since last year. I mean, he gives up homers. It's insane. So I think you're going to see a lot of pop. I think a Baltimore stack's definitely in order for GPPs tonight. And it's not necessarily going to kill you either.
Yeah, definitely with you there. Hold on.
Okay. Odubel Herrera, 4,100 is a guy who I'm looking at against Gibson. Gibson really hasn't been that strong against lefties in his career. 328 WOBA allowed, 4.71 xFIP. This year in a small sample size, 397 WOBA. Herrera's kind of one of those guys that you can trust with some upside just because of the stolen bases. He's got 11 this year, 2 came last night. Odubel Herrera, sir, 4,100. I like him a bit.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I do think so.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't like him nearly as much as I like Trumbo, but yes.
No, you have 3 outfielders to play, so I think you can fit one of them in.
Sir.
Or both of them in.
Yeah, no, he's definitely a good call. And again, that Phillies Twins game is weirdly a powerhouse matchup somehow.
Pitching just is far worse than the hitting.
It's just so bad. Nomar Mazara, again, I think you can target Dan Straley, so 3,700 is pretty reasonable here. And then, I mean, Adam Eaton isn't a great matchup against the lefty, but I also don't think he's out of play in a White Sox stack either.
No, I think you do kind of need him in there just with his upside. And it's not a bad price tag. So he's only fits in the White Sox stack for me. Just because I like some other guys. I mean, as you mentioned, Bizarre, I like Chu as well. There's a couple of guys down here that it's more stacking potential, like Joey Ricard, 3,600. He's been coming around of late as well.
Yeah, I was looking at that. Ricard I'm okay with, but obviously he's had his ups and downs this year. So definitely a guy to take a look at depending on where he's in the lineup.
Yeah, definitely. And Robbie Grossman at 3,500 is a really solid price in this matchup against Adam Morgan. He's going to be a popular play tonight.
Yes.
How do you feel about, I mean, obviously we talked about Samardzija being a possible GPP option. How do you feel about Polanco and McCutchen's prices being really contrarian tonight?
I was looking at Polanco. I don't hate it, but I don't know if that's just the contrarian in me saying that. It is lefty versus righty, and obviously Polanco has great splits against righties, so you have to like that, but definitely just stick to tournaments with that and maybe just 1 or 2 shares. But I think it could pay off. He does have some power, so Samardzija isn't like an ace, you know. He has a good arm, but it's nothing to be afraid of. So I do like Polanco a little bit.
Yeah, I do too. At that price tag, it's nice. I mean, I far more like him than McCutchen, but obviously there is a price difference, and I do think pairing up together is probably where I would go with it. I don't think I would go completely one without the other. I mean, obviously it would be Polanco, but you don't get those guys priced too often. I mean, as we mentioned, Samardzija in play as a GPP on the pitcher pod. But also, I mean, you look at him and he does have his moments where he does get lit up a bit. And
a little narrative street. They were marketing the Pirates game on ESPN radio the other day, and they said Starlin Marte was the star, not McCutchen or Polanco. So little narrative street there in the clubhouse might be pissing those guys off a little bit. So
man, look at you digging deep. You're digging. It's not just the casual bobblehead night with you. You're listening to the local radio.
Anyway.
Any other outfielders you're looking at?
Not really.
All right, fine. Talk to you later.
Yeah. Go away.
That's going to wrap things up here with the DK Daily Trot. Be sure to check out DaveFantasyCafe.com for all our great tools and content.